And then I need the lag check quality control here in the chat. Y'all let me know. But what's up, Carlos? ¿Qué tal, chicos? Alfredo, Patrick, Omar, Linda, Luis, David, Joe, Steven. Got Michael in here. Greg, Brandon, what's up? Amy, CMR? Edgar. All right, what's up, guys? We can't see your charts. It's just you. Yeah, it's how it's supposed to be right now. I'm not showing any charts at the moment. But let's get both running here. Now you should be able to see both. Hola, what's up, Vincent? Eschbach. Valerie, CJ, what's good, man? Hello. All right, so I'm actually already in, I had to set up a little bit earlier. Huh? Okay. So I had to set up here a little earlier. Let me see here. I took an NQ buy. So here was the setup that I had. And I'm sure some of you that have gone through the Smart Money Playbook, if you haven't, then make sure to do that. It's in the classroom. So go over here, not the syndicate. This one's just for the people in the annual program, but in the Tradetopia exchange, here we go. And you go to classroom. If you want to kind of learn more about the different entry models and the different style of positions that we take, then, for example, today was a different entry model that we have, and this is totally for free. So when you go to the Smart Money Playbook, you can watch the videos to see the step-by-step breakdown. But then on top of that, oh, you know what? I just realized it's actually not available here for you guys. Okay. We'll have to upload that, but you can learn exactly different entry models just through here. So make sure you're in there. If you're not, I'll send you guys the link to join right now. So let me shoot you guys the invite. So yeah, you guys learn everything step by step. Even if you're newer, you can go ahead, dive in there, get some value. Okay, so cool. I'll pin that here. All right. So what's up, Dolce? So what I'm going to be doing here is just to also have you guys, here we go, learn a bit more about trade management and everything like that. This is, I have it set up here so that you all can just see kind of how I execute, how I manage it. This is the leader of the copy account from the PA accounts. So this one times 18 of them. So from here, there's a couple key targets. So let me walk you through the why behind this setup first, and then we can kind of see what to expect moving forward. And so as you guys know, I use not just one asset class, but I'll do both at once. All three. So whether it's YM Dow Jones, NQ Nasdaq, or S&P 500, we'll kind of keep all of these in mind as we're trading because they all give different pieces of information. So here, as we're looking at, hold on. This is rough. You know what? Let me just do this here. All right, we're going to have to go camera off. Okay. So as you're looking here, what I was waiting for, and I saw this a little earlier, so the plus side of getting up early enough, or if you're already in Europe, then you don't really have to work or deal with any of this. But when you're over here and, for example, got done with my run, got ready and everything, saw the market sweep below the liquidity, sweep below the Asian lows. And so when Dow first tapped this liquidity, then went up again. And then when we saw Dow get to these lows right here, and I was looking at NASDAQ as well, NASDAQ didn't just get to liquidity. NASDAQ broke through liquidity. So we see the sweep of retail buyers here, and then we see the market run. So the market then pulls back up to this level. So after liquidating buyers, then we see, an activation of retail sell stops. Market comes back up. And then this kind of incentivizes break and retest sellers as well. But the big thing and what gave me a green light for this trade was when the market with Dow bounced off of liquidity, came back up again, then I saw the sweep below the low. So at this moment, I notice, okay, we're seeing lower lows briefly. We're seeing the liquidity capture on Dow. Meanwhile, at the same exact time, so let's zoom in here. At the same exact time as Dow is making a lower low, you can look at the crosshair there. This is where we saw NASDAQ making a higher low. So we see the divergence here. And so noticing the difference, we're seeing this here like that. And then we're seeing this like this. So this was showing me, okay, NASDAQ has, at least in this time, it's more bullish, right? It's holding a good structure, and this could, carry on. So that's why in this instant, when I got this pullback to here, pulled the trigger once we saw the sweep below the lows. So basically at this peak low and in this retracement, this for me was the green light to take my position and see it run through. So, okay. Now, from here, we started seeing sideways movement. We're seeing Dow start to pick up the pace a little bit more, and actually NQ slowed down a little bit. So curious to see how this continues to move forward. We also see a difference up here. So up here, we're seeing NASDAQ make higher highs, although it was brief, whereas Dow is kind of moving sideways. So I think we can see Dow clear these highs, and then we'll kind of see where that takes NASDAQ as well. So this is a trade that I'm in. This is a trade that you could have been in as well if you had the proper preparation. It's just pretty much a textbook. At least for me, I call it a shakeout setup. But did anyone take this? Anyone take a position? Maybe you took Dow. Maybe you took NASDAQ. But that's right now, and this is before we have New York Open or anything. So, yeah, relatively curious to see how this looks for everyone. Now, this is now what happened beforehand. But what can we expect beyond that? Now, if we're looking at this, so let's zoom out a little bit. Now we have NQ, and I'm going to go 1 hour, and we have NASDAQ here. So from yesterday, what we saw was a New York Open, right around here. We see the market rally. So there is a New York Open, little dip, and then a continuation. When you look at Dow yesterday did a very not the New York Open, but actually the news event. We had that news event around 9 o'clock. So once we had that news event, a few minutes afterwards, we see a spike down, and then the market continue. So at some point, I think we can get back into this level. Can't say that it's going to be today. Not quite there yet, but we can see this eventually. So at some point in time, I'm sure we'll come back, mitigate these sell-offs. Same thing here with it was within this New York Open. NASDAQ has a similar movement. So I think we could see quite a bit of momentum there. And now what we're seeing is that everything's pretty efficient. If we go and look at higher time frame movement, the market over here has already rejected this. It's traded out of the zone really well. And then when we look at Nasdaq's done basically the same thing. Nasdaq had a huge buy position back from last Thursday, so big move to the upside, and from here the market crashes. So can we see, is there really a reason for the market to stop? Everything looks very efficient to me. There's this little bit of a move to the upside before it drops, this little order block. Maybe we reject this, but the big picture movement kind of happened already, and that was yesterday's drop off. So, if we zoom out more and we're looking at 4 hour on Dow, is there really a reason for this to slow down? Or are we going to just see an absolute rally on Nasdaq or on Dow? So let's zoom out even more. So let's look at the daily. At the moment, we're seeing Nasdaq trade way up here. We saw the market slow down as it was approaching some imbalances over here. So I think we could go and just make higher highs. That's a possibility for today. So we'll play this one by ear. We're going to be responsive. We have the market presenting, giving us that New York Open, giving us some more movement here in a little bit. If you're trading intraday, and let's say you don't want to give back to the market, then right now you're looking at a pretty good areas of exit. So we've seen the support here from the past with Dow Jones, that right around 42,633. We've seen right here as well with Nasdaq, right? Key levels of support. So am I surprised that we're losing a little bit of momentum or not? Not really. This is typical. There's support. So this kind of is a retail selling point. So usually it'll give a little bit of a rejection, lure in a little bit of money, and then if we're running with momentum, then it should keep going in this trajectory as well. All right. Let's see it here. So from here, look, we're seeing a continuation. Things are looking solid over here. Alert. Yeah, I think I can delete that. And the next area, so right now for key targets intraday, this imbalance would be your first conservative exit. If you want to apply smart money principles, the combination of support and imbalance would be the place to do it. Now, also at this point in time, seeing the reaction that we have, no reason to carry any more risk with this trade at all. In my opinion, I think that would be pretty careless. So protecting our stops there, and then let me move my stops on my other accounts. So let's go here. And then from here, if we're going to see this rally, you kind of see if this again is another just area to be conservative. You see a sweep of the high and then the move. Right now, to me, it looks like Nasdaq is kind of leading the bullish momentum. So I don't necessarily think that selling makes the most sense at all with Nasdaq. I'd probably stay away from shorts. And you're kind of seeing Dow lose quite a bit of momentum, while Nasdaq, pretty minimal, like very minimal rejections. So if this picks up again and is going to target, let's say right here, finish to continue to fill imbalance and then play out of a previous support or a little spike up here, this is where we could see Nasdaq kind of cool down and maybe see some reversal. So am I looking for sells today? No. I'm not necessarily looking for sells. Got those really late. But I am looking to exit this at a good level. So at the moment, I'm seeing more of this bullish tendency. We're seeing this lure in sellers right now, and then especially happening right 5 minutes before New York Open. So I think we can continue to push forward. And then I'm going to take some money off the table. I'm just going to close my trade right over here so I can actually set a sell limit right there. so it can just naturally make its move. So let's see if this holds. At the moment, I already have my stop in a little bit of profits, nothing crazy. And right now, the market is filling these inefficiencies. You're seeing it happen here as well. And from here, either that was all the market was going to give, and the market continues downward, and then we can figure out another trade later on, or this is rebalancing and then gives us the continuation to then hit these exits up here. So right now, I'm at peace with my decisions, whatever direction that it goes in. And let's see, we're sitting on, let's see, so now this is rebalancing a little bit. Looks like it's not here, not a lot of demand down here, so kind of quickly pushing back up. This could lead to the continuation. Dow doing something very similar where it pushes down briefly. So let's see if we continue. If this demand was very short-lived, that would be a good sign that the market can continue in our favor. All right, what's up? What's up, Corey? What about you guys? What do you have on your radar today? Are we looking at currencies? Are we trading? Yeah, what are we trading? What are we trading, guys? You guys got metals on your radar? Let me know. Let me know what y'all cooking with here today. What's up, Brandon? What's up, Corey? Thank you, Greg. Appreciate that. Buenas todos. Buenas. All right, so we did see a little bit. Market is still not quite blasting off yet. So let's see. Still waiting on USD CAD and on USD. Sell limits, an exit, not a short. Yes, so this is an exit. Esta es una salida. This is a take profit since it's futures. This is a take profit right here. Este es un take profit, no es para vender. Exactly. Yeah, important to make that distinguish that. You're looking for a selling gold. Okay. Well, let's check it out. My friend's looking at NQ, and yes. Cool. All right. So I have metals here pulled up. Let's look at what we got. Who ended up making the most out of those shorts from the other day? I know this sell for some of you went really well. Some of you missed this one. That includes me. This went without me. So what I'm looking at here right now is kind of the current structure that I'm seeing. You know, we've been bullish overall anyways. So the market to continue to move on up. We had the nice sell-off here from Friday, creating this low on that New York session, which ended up basically mitigating London session and then continuing. So to see the market trade out of here at some point, I think is great, especially because we had Sunday open here, or Friday close here, Sunday open over here. So we might trade into the zone, have a lot of support in the past right over here. So maybe we come back into the zone and then continue. This is the one that makes the most sense to me. We can take a look at silver to compare just overall price action, just see how things are moving. Silver doesn't quite have that Friday. I mean, yeah, it kind of does drop the same way and then continue. So silver also could be something to have on the radar as well. So you see it drop, go below, and then rally. Based on structure, it might be worth something here. But let's follow up here with indices. Starting to see this pick back up again. So that little drop that we had, like as I mentioned, it was designed to rebalance, at least it looks like right now, than over anything else. With New York Open here happening in a few seconds, there is a chance that it wants to kind of clear below this. So kind of let's see where this takes us. Looks like, whoa, a lot of volatility. All right, so chopping up a little bit. Market will make its decision here. Is anyone already in the same trade that I am in? Did anyone take this before we went live? I think it happened about 15 minutes before the live stream started. So right now we're seeing NASDAQ continue to rally to the upside here. And then with this movement that we had, I'm going to go ahead and just tighten up here. And so let's see. We're seeing NASDAQ definitely clear the way. Honestly, there's a good chance that this will actually go beyond that. But I wanted to take a more conservative, I wouldn't even say conservative, but make sure we're on the same pathway so that this can take profit at a pretty good level. Just in case we see Dow continue to fill imbalance up here. And let's say Dow wants to reject over here, then we have more than enough time to see this trade go through. So this just tagged me out. And then that looks like, what do we hit here? Let's see here. So then now here's the thing. This was a sell stop, but that's in order to protect my entry, right? So we just hit there. I think it was about 300 or something. Yeah, so nice on my Apex actually account that wicked me out, but on my Top Step it missed by a point. So let's see here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just call it anyways, just because it missed early. Unfortunately, let's see. Let me take my winnings here. Excuse me. All right, so made its way over there. Here, because I don't really see us having a true distribution here. Like right now, we're rebalancing on Dow, and I think it could push even higher. So I wonder if we're going to end up clearing these highs with Dow. Especially because we had this here. So I think, and we just saw, look at the switch in momentum. Dow just pushing through. Dow leading the way. NASDAQ kind of chilling here. So look at that. We're seeing Dow continue to rally. I want to see it clear these highs. We may end up seeing a mitigation setup with Dow Jones as well. This is what looks like a reaccumulation. So this is clearing the way really well. And then if we look at NQ over here, this now, you're seeing the divergence, right? We're seeing NASDAQ having a really hard time. This is broken below. NASDAQ not quite. Can we commit to shorts on NASDAQ? I am not going to. I am not going to do any of that. I could see it. Like it, I'm feeling that NQ can drop as we're now seeing it happen real time. But do I have the setup for it? You know, as I marked up here and I said, all right, we could short out of this zone. And that is actually exactly what happened. So played red out of there. And then we're seeing that divergence. Dow trading way up here. Meanwhile, NASDAQ still holding it down. But this is not a confirmation for me to get into the market. I don't really see the exchange from, buyers to sellers. I think we have way more momentum to the upside. So there's not really a setup here for me to take. I would rather have Dow prove that it's got some bullish demand and then make a move, or vice versa. Look at how now Dow is. So you see how Dow is now losing momentum. It swept that external liquidity. So are we going to see Dow short from here? Because now Dow Jones has cleared everything from above. It's kind of like yesterday's setup. Dow Jones sweeps the highs and then comes back. Now kind of like, okay, cool. Took care of business. Took care of money here. Fantastic. After it swept all of this, look what's happening. This is where typical break and retest buyers can come into the market. So there's a decent chance that we see the market pull back a little bit, lure in some buyers, and then maybe we have another shakeout, but for the other side of things. So because we're seeing how little demand Dow was able to sustain up here. Look at this. And now NASDAQ is, again, kind of flipping back into being the bull. So actually really interesting. Price action moving really, really interesting. Excuse me, right over here. So I'm curious. This might be a decent sell opportunity now that it's cleared liquidity, London session and highs, and we're seeing this push downwards so aggressively. Beautiful. Now NASDAQ leading. So if you guys took this trade, my profit was right there. So that's about a 3.5. NASDAQ now taking out the highs. Fantastic. Can we see this one play out over here? So let's see here. One second. Let me set up here so that it's ready to roll if I do decide to take a position. So look at how the market here, NASDAQ ripping right now, clearing above those highs. We see Dow clear the highs, show very little demand. Right now we're kind of seeing that typical, pullback, lures in buyers again. This could be that shorting opportunity, and that might have been it right now. That one little 1 minute pull move to the upside. Right there. Rejecting out of these previous highs. Looks like that was it. Yep. I hesitated too much. I was trying to figure out lot sizes and contract sizes and all that. So I wanted to see if we were going to get a short right out of here, and we definitely did. Cool. So, between breaking down the setups with you guys and, managing lot sizes and doing everything the right way, it was just too fast for me to be able to calculate and just and have the right contract sizes and everything like that. So not a big deal. Part of this is being able to execute effectively. And in this example, not quite. They just didn't have the ability to do everything that fast, and that's fine. So with that being said, I'm not going to look to do anything here. I think we already got the rejection. I already saw it push down. Clearly see money come in. What we may see now is that we may be looking at an opportunity where we see buys with NASDAQ. So if, for example, we have demand here, so let me pull up the 15-minute. If we continue to see bullish structure here with NASDAQ, then we might just see something like this. And we might get another buy position, somewhere at these levels and kind of see where this takes us. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how NASDAQ continues to develop. I have a feeling that some of you maybe caught the short here on this move, and maybe it's still enough. Like, there is right now is made its way to the upside. We're seeing the market come down, seeing it come up, coming back down, coming back up. So with the move like this and the very little demand that we're seeing over here, is there still a shot at a sell up here? What do we think? What just happened here? Is there still a shot at this? Is it worth looking for a short now that it's pulled back up at the zone? Now that we're starting to see NASDAQ starting to lose a little bit of steam as well, is it worth it? So I feel like the shorts are still possible. It looks like every time we see a little bit of a dip on Nas, Dow makes sure it dips more. So looks like, yep, this pullback here was just another chance at getting into the short. As you guys can see, I'm not in a position yet or anything like that. One thing that we can do here as well is, for example, let me pull up the micros here. So if I wanted to take a short, one thing that you can do, and it just depends on the you knowing the values, but for example, it's 50 cents here. This is how much a contract is going to be worth, micro. So you have that set up here. It'll show you my risk here. Let's say I want to risk 125. It'll show you how many contracts you can be using in an example like this. Let's say we wanted to take a sell above like all of this choppiness. So taking about 20, let's say we do this, right? It'll be about 20 contracts to risk 125. Or you could do two contracts with minis. So here, for example, we can set this up to be 20. I can set a limit here if I want to. So let's say something like this. And then up here, you can set your stop. So you set up a buy stop so that if, it cracks through, it's protected. And that's how you can set the orders. So look, we're seeing NASDAQ still kind of more bullish while Dow is having that divergence. So this coming up to here, let's just say we get lucky and it gives us the opportunity. Then it could trigger the order in. And then we can look at NAS a little bit more.
Order submitted.
And look at the difference. NASDAQ continuing to rally and Dow barely pushing gives me more confidence that if we do get up to here, that we could see a significant drop, because we also have NASDAQ that could fill all this imbalance. So yeah, this is one of those, because right now what's happening? This liquidated sellers, this lures in buy stops. There's the support here lined up for buyers. So this can start to lure in, or there's support before. So lure in buyers again, bring them into the market. Now there's more buy positions over here. So the market dropping and then liquidating these buys could be a move. Now there's a chance though that this is already, it might be a little too late, right? And we already saw the moves up. So if we keep building liquidity here and then push, I'm down still for the short. If this keeps pushing down and we see the rebalance fully, we see NASDAQ rebalance, then it's just call it a wrap, call it a day, and just delete the setup. So we'll kind of see here. This is where I think we could see the as a buyer, people that are like retail break and retest. I think this is where we could see the market lure in buyers. If we get that back up to here, and if it makes sense, then I think we could see everything drop again. So we'll see. We shall see. Yeah. Nice TP. Thank you. I'm looking for New York to sweep those highs and then for reversal to push back on down NAS. Yeah, drip. Called it, bro. Exactly how you said it would. What's up, Miguel? Similar, missed it. Okay. Great. Got in Dow. Nice. Right now we're in the balance in the 1 hour. Yep. Maybe a short S&P. And that's another one too that you can do. You can do trade liquor. Corey, what's that, bro? All right. Let's see. These are aligned, I think, right now, so they'll keep updating. Okay. So S&P, on the other hand, let's see here. S&P. Let's look at the contract. Pull it up. Here we go. So S&P, similar, and as usual, price action. Trading in between NASDAQ and Dow in terms of the extremes and how much they're moving. So right now, like I mentioned, right, previous levels of support. This is going to induce buyers. We're seeing it happen not just with S. What's up, Hector? NASDAQ break and retest off the highs. So this is luring in buyers some more. Okay. So now it's going to be the moment of truth. Do I have the right context with this setup? Is this here to lure in? Now there's tons of liquidity on this side, right? There's sell side liquidity. So there's buyers that are in the game. So either it shorts out of here and it just plays into this imbalance, or it clears these small time frame highs and then makes the dip. So right now we're in this imbalance right there. I think there's a decent chance that we clear this, and then this would be a good risk reward for me. So yeah, I think there's a decent chance that we get right above this. And then here we go. Let's see. Excuse me. Oh, this is going to be painful if this is the case. Let's see. Losing some momentum, and it's playing out of this last point of supply right now. Oh, that's rough. This one's going to sting a little. So like I mentioned, it was either playing inside of this imbalance on the 15-second. We saw right in there. These weren't necessarily equal highs, so I mean, I guess that's acceptable, but pretty damn close. Just a couple points. I'm still under the impression that it could play out, that it lures in. It might spike through one more time, looking to get above this. So it might go right through here and then make the drop. We'll see. I'm patient. Now, if this continues to go down and it breaks below these lows, then I'll just delete my trade and call it, and that's fine. I wouldn't be surprised if we see NAS break above these highs again. Maybe another push up here would bring the entry to reality. Let's see. One thing I want to double check though is the following. I feel like these are too many. Let's see. Count size. Let's see for that. Lot size should be half. This looks like too many contracts to me. All right, I'm going to double check this. Something about this just feels off. So I'm going to go with 10 right there. . Okay, let's see. Did I just get missed? That's wild. That would be hilarious. All right, so right now what I'm seeing is it did just sweep. And so what I'm going to do is this. I'm actually going to oh, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and market execute a sell from right here. And then looking at this, got to put a buy stop right there. So I got my buy stop set here. All right. So we're in the short. I'm in the short. Obviously, you guys can see that. And we'll see how this one plays along. So right now, for example, when this is up, because this is up, 50 cents a point here. When you're up, it should be around 10 points, should be up about $50. So here, the drawdown made more sense. I don't know what's going on there, but look at how we're seeing this short from here right now. So now we're seeing money come in. Now we're seeing it bleed through. NQ also doing a fantastic job dropping as it cleared liquidity. So if anything, NQ is, I'd say, dropping at a stronger capacity right now. So good sell-offs, whether it was NQ, whether it was Dow. We're seeing this play out really well. NQ right now going for the imbalance fill. Fantastic. We're seeing that the highs up here weren't long lasting. This was very brief. So there's demand up here, not really quite proving itself, which is fine. That kind of gives us more clarity, more confirmation. So big drop here on the small time frame. If you want to go ahead and, so let me go ahead and delete that. But if we want to see this here, as you guys can see, NASDAQ definitely was a better short overall. It's looking like the momentum is running with NASDAQ, not so much with Dow. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to go ahead and I could either close this position or I can just let it ride. I think they're relatively similar. And so let me zoom out real quick here. We're seeing us trade over here because it's not always the 1 minute. We want to zoom out and understand the higher time frame. Dow has shown us that it's trading within this range. So Dow was briefly above here, losing tons of momentum, which is great. NASDAQ as well, trading right below the previous highs. So I'm going to let this one ride through. And then now that we're seeing up and down and up and down, I want us to break below and trade below. If we can get this demand, then I'm going to go ahead and tighten up my stop. So that way we can kind of confirm, okay, we're seeing structure. We're seeing sellers really at these prices locked in. And then we can go ahead and tighten up. What I'm going to do is here we have a push down, push back up, push back down. So just right now, I'm going to keep this a little bit, tighten that up. And then here, let's see my other account, tighten this up a little bit too. Okay, let it ride. So now, in regards to the exit and the risk to reward, looking at how the market is moving along right here, Dow actually had created another batch of liquidity right over there. And these lows that were before New York Open came into yesterday's New York session. So seeing these lows, now us clearing that external liquidity, just going for a target here at this low could be great. Could be very significant. And then if we look at NASDAQ and how NASDAQ's trading, NASDAQ over here, NASDAQ does not have that anymore. at all. It just actually cleared the imbalance, played out of this last point of supply, and then rallied. However, it failed to keep these highs. So it looks like this could be the beginning of a higher time frame distribution. So let's say we go to the 1 hour. This looks like this could have been the quote unquote UTAD. Same thing here. You look at Dow here. Came back up to the zone. Higher time frame, played right out of the structure. So all of the higher time frame imbalances have been taken care of. All of the price action over up in this range looks like it's good. These are one of the times where you kind of feel pretty ambitious to let it ride all the way into the imbalance, into the previous structure. I get it. I think I would rather take some partials at liquidity, and then if we do want to see it ride further into the imbalance, see it play into that 9 a.m. candle from yesterday, I totally understand that. And so I'm going to take some off the table at liquidity and then see if we can let some ride down into this imbalance, because it does look like higher time frames, the exchange of money, the imbalance, the rebalance, all of these things are being successfully completed. Same thing with NASDAQ, same thing with S&P. So now that we clear liquidity, we're rebalanced up at top, higher time frames. It's like, all right, all the money has been swapped. Can this go work its way back into yesterday's New York session and fill this imbalance? So zooming in here, we're seeing now this break below the lows. At this point in time, I feel like there's really no need to have risk on the table anymore. So we can let this one ride here and then just kind of have the market go do its thing. So good stuff right now. If you did take this position, then, you should be sitting at around at least a 2R right now. So the trade was like this. Stop was right there. Just tapped into a little under 2R. Now okay. So look at that. The market and then immediately aggressively pulling back up. Dow, big chillin' here. Not as strong as a move to the upside as Dow is doing. NASDAQ is very much not dropping as aggressive, but not going up as aggressive. So hopefully we don't get taken out here and then it makes the move. Ideally, I could see NASDAQ want to go up a little bit higher just to kind of fill this a little bit more and then make the drop. Let's see if we hang on to this one and we don't get stopped out. Now, if you want to give yourself that wiggle room, then you could do one of these and just give yourself a little bit of space in case it's going to clear some of this sideways movement and make the drop. If you feel like that's necessary. We've already seen quite a bit of money gets exchanged, so we saw huge sell-off here. So to me, I would rather just keep it no risk on the table and just allow the market to do its thing, because to me, it looks like we already saw an exchange of money from clearing out the liquidity that was brought in here. So that was the job. Technically, the intention behind this move is because we have the break retest. So we know buyers get lured in over here. The market pulls back up. So the first move down, really this push is to liquidate buyers, to clear that sell side liquidity. So that's what happened. Everything else is extra, in my opinion. Now the extra, there's incentive for the extra because there's liquidity here. So I'm okay with just kind of letting this ride. Now, to avoid getting wicked out, and let's say the market coming up here, I feel like there's not enough incentive to then come all the way up here and back down. So I'd rather just kind of let the market now live with the movement that we're currently seeing. So this is how we have it. Whoa, looks like something just happened. NQ just... Did we just have a news event? And I totally forgot about it. Oh, we totally didn't. I forgot. Damn, amateur. I wasn't looking at the time. This is time and price, folks. So Dow here showing the and technically this would have been my exit right over here, but so that I would have taken about 5 off the table here. So let me actually place a change this here. Dang, I kind of wanted that initial exit right there. That's unfortunate. Let's see if we can hold on. So I'm going to take some off the table. Let's see if he comes back to this range. Take some, let's see here. I wonder. The way it dropped and came back up was so quick that let's see if we can continue to see this push down. But look at this move. Just instant news event drop. NASDAQ, similar movement. Big push down. Not as deep,
Order submitted.
but also on the way back up, it's not pushing up as much as well. So this is, and here's, you guys can learn from this mistake. This should have already been placed. So I focused too much on explaining and blah, 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 when this should have been there. So we should have already collected, 120 plus points. And now we'll see. Now we'll see what happens, because now we got this sweep of, we got below New York open. We see that push and sweep all of this liquidity. This is going to end up maybe being a wash when it could have been, this could have been a profitable play. Maybe it comes down, but this could have been avoided. So if I was going to qualify my trade management, this here was a mistake. This should have been already taken some. So in case this wants to just fill imbalance and demand and then do it, I'm going to actually take some off the table a little bit earlier just in case. So we'll see. If we keep pushing down and we get a lot of this movement, I'll also move my stops into a better place. On the other hand, though, so something else to consider, that we now have created more liquidity down here. Now we have more retail buyers here. It looks like this might still hold and push its way down. There's a chance here that this still plays out. Let's see. We shall see, my friends. Let me go 15-minute. NQ, very bearish. It's working. Look at the difference. Yeah, look at that. Pushing decently. Dow, struggling. Struggling. For those of you that shorted NQ, looking good right now. All right. So let's see here. That dollar, so this was obviously a dollar base. I totally forgot there was something at 9. With that being said, we can go take a look at how that influenced metals or majors. And let's say pulling up here, gold. Didn't really do much. And let's look at the majors here. With the majors, zoom out some. This Australian setup I've had here for a few days. So we've been moving sideways. This swept, external liquidity, made its way down. The 4-hour created liquidity. It did not make lower lows, unfortunately. So this could be a target. And then as we're seeing current price action, what we can do is take a look at how we're moving here. So NZD USD has been a little bit slower in that climb back up, but I'll also say that NZD USD is just making pullback. So it's been more bullish. We saw it pull back to this level, slowly making its way up. This kind of move, it's pretty brief. We don't get like lower lows on the 1 hour or anything like that. Overall, for me, momentum looks pretty bullish, so I'd rather just kind of wait it out there. Let's take a look at indices. NQ, definitely way more bearish. Would love for Dow to follow the path here. What we haven't seen is NASDAQ push below these London session lows right here. So I wonder if we push towards that. And if NQ can get below here, just kind of sweep this. And I wonder if we see that bring us to a profit here with Dow. So right now we're getting below all of this. Fantastic. There's a little bit of an imbalance in here. There's a chance that the market can do a little bit of reversal here. So if you wanted to be very conservative and take some money off the table on Dow, then I get it. I can understand why you'd want to do that. I think there's more of a priority to get below, though, these London session lows, but definitely could understand why. And we have a pretty good amount of supply right here, support in the past. So sometimes these levels hold and then they reverse again. So let's say we wanted to take something out of the table here, then, I understand it. So like, oh, you could just go, oh, you know what, let me take a contract off, pay myself a little bit because of probabilities more than anything. It's all it is. Remember, is when you're trading, is a game of probabilities, etc. So you see how we've seen support. That's kind of the reason why sometimes you see that. But I think there's a bigger target for liquidity below the low, considering we haven't gotten to this level yet. And also, though, one thing I am going to do here now is manage this. So I'm going to go ahead and place that there. So worst case, we do get to collect over here. All right, so I just took half off the table. Now that NQ is clearing these lows, and we're seeing Dow a little bit slower on the drop. So this way, at least we have something here.
Order failed.
Hold up. What's good here? Something's weird. Something strange is happening. All right, so from there, now the question is going to be, is the intention just to clear these lows? Or, and then now this comes right back up and, we do all of this all over again. Or are we building up liquidity now? Because now you're seeing this drop back down to here. Look at this. Okay. So we see NASDAQ now cleared liquidity. Not really, the London session lows, and then creating more here. You're seeing Dow do more of this. The downside is that it doesn't mean it's going to happen right now. So if we look at NQ here, did anyone just take profit on their trades? Let me know in the chat. If you took profit, if you got some wins, let me know in the chat. And then also let us know in the community. Like, drop your wins in the Tradetopia community. Obviously, like, these sessions are free. All right. Trading the news could be risky and unpredictable, FYI for everyone. I don't think news is risky. Your risk is already predetermined. The news is just news. 1 to 4 on Dow. Well done. 4R for the day. Excellent. TP booked on Nash. Short back to those lows. Hello, school post. Yeah, drop him in the post. Drop him in the school. We want to see the wins. PMI came worse than expected. Couldn't care less. Yeah, so remember, I think you need to change the amount on your buy stop. You are right. I do need to change the amount on my buy stop. Good looks. Shout out to you guys. Keeping me right. All right, so let's take a look at price action right now for a sec. I'm noticing something interesting here. So NASDAQ clears the low, flies back over to here. Dow now kind of chilling. Not the same pace, right? Not the same type of aggressive movement here as we're seeing. So Dow a little bit slower on the way up. I kind of like the looks of this because I feel like, hold on, let me
Orders
here.
submitted.
I feel like we could see this be enough for then Dow to now make the next extension lower. We're kind of building up liquidity here. I like what I'm seeing. One thing that I like to do when just considering the different perspectives is, what would the market need to show us for us to think that maybe this is going to break the highs again? Is there a possibility? Is there a scenario in which we don't keep going lower? Is there a scenario in which we go higher? Not that we need to trade it, but is there information showing us that, no, this wants to go higher? Does that exist? And at the moment, I'm not really convinced that anything is giving us that perspective. Now, NASDAQ, for example, melting, breaking the lows and coming right back up. Maybe. That could be something. So that's got me curious. There's a lot of liquidity here. So I think we have a decent shot at the market staying. And at least Dow looks like a much better position. So maybe we see Dow clear liquidity one more time. So I'll put an alert here. NASDAQ doing all of this is a little strange. So maybe we see Dow liquidity clearance. Maybe we see NASDAQ follow suit. We'll kind of see what the market looks like. Because right now we are definitely seeing a struggle. NASDAQ showed us that the break below was not necessarily to confirm sellers. Dow here also not giving us the most convincing perspective on. Here we go. Let me see here. Now, one of the good things with price action is that we do have a better shot at Dow like respecting this, since NASDAQ's pulled up so much and is still chilling. So we'll see. I'm going to ride this out. I already took the exit that I wanted to confirm at these lows down here. So I feel good about that. Everything else now is a bonus, in my opinion. So let's see, focused. And one thing that I want to give some perspective on in regards to just overall like big picture trading is that, for example, yesterday got stopped out a few times. And then today, back-to-back wins already covered yesterday's not so great day. But what happens is sometimes you have a day that didn't go well or is not starting to go well, and so you end up wanting to make up for it so fast that you make bigger errors, bigger mistakes that end up costing you much more long term. So you really do want to build a lot more conviction, a lot more trust in the probabilities for you in the long run. So right now, if you're like, oh, like for example, like, I mean, most of you should be having a pretty decent day today, but if it wasn't the case, then you know what, and you just put everything on the line in the instant to instant, because you want to feel better. That's usually how it goes. Is you want to feel better in the moment. So look, right now, we may just see this clear here and then drop. There's a chance that it gets into here as well, and maybe we see a drop. The question is, do I want to give it a chance? That's the question. Do I want to give this a chance or not? Oh, my bad. Here we go. Attack. So this is a game time decision that you can make. Do we feel like there's enough? Let's say we go like this, and you go, oh, well, I want to see if we have, if it's going to respect here or if it's going to respect here and then drop. And it's worth finding out. That way you can live to see the rest of the trade. Would it take a new trade? No. I wouldn't take a new trade. But here, you know, we're going side by side. Is the market giving us signs that it wants to just rebalance and drop or not? So are you willing to give up some partials to give this a little bit of breathing room to make the move? Or do you stick with your guns? Here's how it's going structure-wise. But let's see it play out. Right now, we're seeing the respect of the order block here. So is it going to respect this here, push lower, or not? So for me, I would understand, and I can see it clear the highs here. I'm cool with giving it some breathing room, giving back, let's say $50 or so, if this gives us the opportunity to work its way down. Like right now, we're seeing it just rebalance in here. Big move down. Okay, great. So giving us some proof that money's coming in here. Some sideways movement. Played out of the order block that we had there. Structure. So now if it comes back up here, it stops me out. Whatever. Call it a day. The market is basically as efficient as can be. There's really no reason to take on or give back any other money now at this point. If it comes back up, now I'm at peace with the decision. I wanted to see if Nasdaq was going to play out of here well or not. And right now it gave us the rejection. Doesn't mean it has to keep giving us the move, but at least it did see the exchange from buyers to sellers here. And then now just let it do whatever it wants to do. The key target now is the sweep of this liquidity here. If everything is now completely efficient, then I feel like we have a good shot at not just clearing liquidity. If it's going to go, then it would give us the full push and crack below all of this. But that's a big if. So hopefully you guys always understand that even when I communicate with you, it's always if. It's never assuming. It's understanding that we're in this market of unknowingness. Like nothing is guaranteed. What I want is not necessarily what needs to be. It's what I love to happen, but it's not always going to be what will happen. And that's fine. So, yeah, I mean, looking at this now, you can kind of see this doing a little bit of a squeeze here. So could we see another move? Then the drop. There's a chance. But this is how, this is how I'm going to manage this one. Now, one of the nice things too, and this is the extra reason why if, I see this buy stop is wrong, obviously, as well. My bad. But one of the things that is giving me some sort of, if we do get the drop, then let it really ride, is because we've been moving sideways for almost a full day. We're about 21 hours into this. So if we are going to get the movement, then we should be able to see quite the drastic move to the downside.
Order submitted.
So this right here, we have quite a bit of buyers lined up. So seeing a big move down kind of makes sense to play into this zone over here. Same thing, you look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ's been moving sideways. For a pretty good amount. So for this to come break through, give us another leg down, I could see that going that way. Okay. So right now, I mean, it's showing signs that it doesn't want to stay at these levels. My only concern is that I have a weird feeling that we could see the sweep up and then the drop. Like there's a possibility. Now that it's giving us this though, and if we can see it get below this low and keep trading here, then I feel better about it. Okay. All right. Now going back to majors here, we're seeing the move, dollars losing some strength. So we're seeing NZD USD climb up. We're seeing Australian dollar climb up to these zones. NZD making at the moment more of the lower high versus Australian that's kind of pushing right now a bit more aggressively to the upside. You can take a look at something like Euro, which is still similarly making lower highs at the moment. And then we're seeing GU sweep liquidity taking out this. So when you're making a decision and you want to, for example, take a trade, well, which one makes more sense? For me, I like to be in awareness with the price action, but also, okay, what are the higher time frames showing us? So much squeezing here with Australian. Higher time frames are all set in stone. Got a good mitigation there. These are kind of the more annoying ones when it comes to trading these. Now, one thing, guys, here is I'm seeing this build up a lot of sideways movement. I'm actually going to give it a little bit of room because I think now we could see a sweep and then see the drop. Us getting this and then staying down here, I think we could see just a brief moment before it drops again. And again, these are trade management, obviously like live management. More the market develops, the more information you have. But every time it's come up to this level between like 42,615 and 42,640, it's been so brief. So us coming back up to these ranges, I mean, literally seeing it again right now. These are just showing signs of the market wanting to give the opportunity for buys at 42,640, 42,630, and then it keeps losing that momentum. So I feel like price being at these levels is very, very brief, and so giving it enough space to, for example, clear out these areas here and then make its decision. I could see that play out. Like we're seeing, let's see right now. And so going with this type of decision, giving back, whatever, a couple, let's say, I don't know, like $50 times a whole bunch. is fine in order to see the rest of it, considering we have the RR on the table for something like this, a couple 100 points more. Yeah, I'm cool with that. So now we've seen the sweep above. Seeing it drop like this right away, usually a good sign. Let's see if that's going to be the case. So let's see if the audible here was worth it or not. Maybe not. Interesting thing is NAS is holding up pretty decent. NAS is holding up here enough. Let's say NAS now decides to make its continuation. That might help Dow make its move. Or we see NASDAQ pull higher, and then obviously this pushes this even higher too. The tragedy would be for it to go all the way to here and then make the drop. Then that would just be super sad. All right, let's see here. So let me know in the chat if you understand kind of the, okay, we were building up liquidity here, the motive behind, I guess, my trade management with this specific position. And considering we already took money off the table over here, I was super at peace with all of this. This is all for, like, it's almost like playing with just like extra. Let's see. What was that? A point or two? All right. So that's game over. I have a weird feeling that it's still going to go down, but at this point, I don't have the... I don't know why I didn't just put it basically at break even, but I have a feeling that this is still going to be the imbalance fill for everything to then work its way back down. But at this point, I don't have any extra confirmation. It's more like it can fill imbalance and then rally. So to take another position here, in my opinion, would be a mistake. And the funny thing is, I thought about moving it just above or below my entry to see it play out. But I had already just put it to this random ass point. And then, I don't know, out of stubbornness, I didn't just move it up. But let's see. And worst case scenario, one of the things that we could see would be a new setup. So, or best case scenario, we could see a new setup and then the market unfold. So right now, I think we had it, guys. I think directionally we had it. I think I was just a point or two away. So let's see. If this works its way down, then I may make a different entry. But yeah, not going to force it. I'm just going to wait for the confirmations to be set. And then, excuse me. And then I'll make the call. But we'll wrap it up there, guys. I mean, successful session for sure. I know we locked in the NQ buys from earlier. Took a nice trade, the sell as well. And then from now, I mean, we'll just kind of see what the market has in store for us. So good stuff, you guys. I hope you enjoyed. Join the community. It's linked pinned at the top. And then we'll see what's good from here. All right, cool. Much love, guys. The link is at the top. Click that. It's pinned. Join the community. I'll accept the invites. And then from there, if you had some wins today, go ahead and share those in the chat. We love to see you guys absolutely crushing it. So tomorrow we'll be live again, and then I'll be at a special hour for NFP on Friday. Tag us online too. Tag us on IG. Do all that good stuff. And we appreciate you guys. Much love. Peace.